Hi, my name is Rich Harrington, and we've been taking a look at some of the very cool features inside the new version of Adobe CS6. I want to show you putting a couple of things together in After Effects. We've talked about a lot of these technologies on past episodes, but I want to show you how you can put several things together, including camera tracking and 3D text extrusion. I've got this footage here, and I already covered on an early episode how we can go ahead and use the 3D camera tracker. What I want to do here is track something in relation to this window. So I'm looking for something that's going to give me a nice parallel shot to that window, and that's pretty good there. I can always zoom in to make it a little bit easier. And what I want is something that looks like it's on the side of the wall. That looks good, so I'll click, and you see I've got our different points there. So if I click in the middle there, I get the Move tool, and I could reposition that along the wall. That looks pretty good, and what I want to do is go ahead and create, in this case, a text layer. And you see it attaches. Now I'm just going to rotate that in 3D space using my rotation tools here. And we're going to swing that out a little bit. That looks pretty good. And using the anchor point, we'll just slide that along. And it's going to hang out there in space. So as we move through there, you get an idea of how that's staying attached to the side of the building. Now I'm going to drop that down just a little bit. And using my rotation tools here, I can adjust the angle and the property. Pretty good. Like that. There we go. You get the idea. Now what I'm going to do is change my composition settings here and take advantage of the brand new Ray Traced option. When I do this, it gives me geometry. And it allows me to go ahead and extrude my objects a bit. Now if you really want to see this, you're going to need to add some lights. So there we go. Let's put an ambient light in to adjust the overall base light. And then a directional light, such as a spot. Have it there. Grab that light and adjust its position. There we go. And I sometimes find it useful to switch this to two comp views so it's easier to see what I'm working with. I'll set this one here to Custom View 1, and I see my solid there for the text, and there's my light. Let's go ahead and make sure that that text is white so we can get some shadows on there. That looks pretty good. And I've got my 3D light, and I could just adjust its position and point of interest here to pull off what I need. And notice as we move that around how we start to get real reactions. There we go. And I'll adjust the intensity of the light as well. So that's pretty cool. And what I'm going to do here is pull the light a little bit higher in the scene. That's working pretty nicely. And I'll adjust its intensity. And all the settings you have here with the material options on the letters are going to let you tweak that. So if you want to go ahead and adjust things, it's super easy. I'll pull the ambient light down here a little bit. That's pretty cool. I've got my shadows, and I'm happy with that. Except what's missing is something to catch the shadows. So I'll select the footage layer there and just come down here and look for a good surface down below. There's one right there. Let's just go ahead and Alt drag there to make that bigger. I got that. And I'm going to right click and create a shadow catcher and a light. Now the shadow catcher is just a solid object that's attached, and it's set to be transparent. So if you look at here under the material options, what you'll notice is that it's accepting shadows, but it's only going to show shadows only. So what this allows you to do is with that light start to cast shadows onto it. So let's just adjust the light here. And we'll adjust the intensity of the lights as well as their position. and I tell that one to cast a shadow, and notice that high light up there is shooting a shadow backwards. Now I can go ahead and adjust the diffusion here as well as the fall off, and that'll affect how the shadow behaves. And I'm going to go ahead and diffuse that just a little bit so it's a little bit more blurry. That's pretty cool. And then remember, just adjust the light. So as you do there, I'm going to change its position a little bit. You see that the shadow moves. So there we go. I've got a nice high light casting that. I'm happy with it. I'm going to come up here to that light itself and take the shadow darkness down a bit so it's mixing in with the scene. And let's render. Now, what we just did was pretty dang advanced. We made 3D text, we've tracked the camera, we've added lights, we've cast a shadow, and notice as I move through the scene that that text is going to react to the camera movement as well as the footage. Plus, it's casting photorealistic shadows because I'm using a shadow catcher. This is freaking cool. It's really nice that we can now do all sorts of great things like attach objects, text, or lights to a scene, and as the camera moves in real life, we can insert digital elements and even cast photorealistic shadows. This is a reason to upgrade alone if you ever wanted to pull off cool effects. You want to insert text, you want to insert objects into scenes, this works fantastic. Let's go ahead and play that back, and you see we've got our cast shadows and our 3D text that's been inserted into the scene. And as we move past it, even with the camera bumps, we've got real depth, real perspective, and real shadows. I think this is just great. For Creative Cow, my name's Rich Harrington. Thanks for watching.